Well, you may already know this. Arkansas is home to a significant amount of munitions production in various locations. And so what we've seen is domestic production and our ability to engage and maintain magazine depth appropriately is critical to the effort, whether we're dealing with Iran or whether we're preparing for a near peer or a peer-to-peer engagement, which we hope never happens. But this is the whole peace through strength model. What we need to do is invest in our domestic capability to be able to produce at scale and make sure that we are doing for ourselves, not reliant on foreign sources. And this is an America first posture, but doesn't necessarily mean America alone, but it does mean that we're putting ourselves first, making sure that we can protect the American people and our interests. And so I think it's a good investment to make sure that our domestic munitions production remains robust and can address ongoing conflict.
So you know what, you've addressed this. This is a conversation we had earlier in the week. We had this with Gordon Chang, but also with Steve Yates. Steve Yates joined me, and we were talking about the threat of China, because if you have the depletion of these munitions, and this is what you just referenced, they're a peer-to-peer conflict, whether that is Iran or more importantly China. You know, I asked Steve, look, how much of a concern is this? Listen to what he told me. Okay, I don't have that soundbite. There's no soundbite. But listen, basically he said that, look, that is the concern, and this is happening at Heritage. Heritage has done analysis on this, that there is concern that if aggressions with the Chinese escalate, you've got a munitions problem, a supply problem. Your thoughts?
Well, and this gets back to my point. We definitely need to redouble our efforts here at home, make sure that we have the appropriate level of investment to maintain magazine depth as it applies to our ability to engage in any contingency. And this has been lost over decades. And you know, the good news is President Trump sees this as an important initiative. He's asking for more money so we can shore up weaknesses where they may exist and make sure that we are in a position to engage whenever and wherever it's necessary. So I think our domestic capability is worthwhile investment.
I've got that Steve Yates clip ready. Listen to what Steve told me.
I think that when it comes to China's calculus, there's always the caveat of if they are rational. And if they're rational, then they would know that whatever armaments are relevant to what we're doing in Iran are very, very different than what would be used and needed in Asia-related contingencies, different geography, different distances, different mix of allies and capabilities. I think that the armaments issue is largely something that will get addressed. I don't believe it's as dire as is talked about, although we have to be responsible with what we do. And I think that we are in a better place than we've been in decades with regard to the first island chain in the Indo-Pacific. Japan is more serious in investing and developing advanced technology. The Pentagon has appropriately engaged with the Philippines, who has really sobered up about what China is doing. And China encroaching on the Philippines makes clear this isn't about internal politics in China. This isn't just about Taiwan. It's really about freedom of navigation, freedom of the people in Asia, and which model of development you really want. On that, we're doing well, but we need to do better.
And your thoughts on that, sir?
Yeah, I think what he said is spot on, and we tend to look at these things in somewhat of a vacuum without the consideration. You know, as he indicated, I was on an interview earlier or over the weekend, and you know, this apples to oranges comparison that's taking place with how we're engaging with Iran versus what we would do in the Indo-PACOM if we were to engage with China. There were a whole lot of factors not being considered, and he just mentioned a couple of them: Japan and the Philippines, for example. Australia is another. Our partners in that region and what that means for us and our posture there. What the geography is different. That engagement will be entirely different than what we're seeing in Iran, and so I don't think that's a fair comparison. I think it's a relevant conversation to have, but I don't think it's an accurate comparison of what we're doing in Iran versus what would be necessary in the Indo-PACOM, addressing great power adversary.
Well, national security, and that is your focus, sir. Let me ask you about this. Congress is now poised for this post-recess September scramble. So Republicans need to advance President Trump's agenda before November. Senate Budget Committee Chair Ron Johnson unveiling the budget blueprint before he left for the August recess. This includes tens of billions of dollars in spending for the military, which we're discussing, but also farm programs, election integrity measures. I spoke with Johnson on the program yesterday. Here's what he told me.
Before the midterms would be difficult, we decided collectively between the president, senators and House members, let's work on a far better reconciliation bill than the skinny one that we brought to us that had no pay for us. And President Trump and his team, let's do a far better job of providing the support the finest among us deserve in the military, but also do whatever we can using reconciliation to pass some election integrity. The reason we didn't pass the Save America Act isn't because of Republicans, it's because Democrats refuse to vote for any election integrity measure because they want to make it easy to cheat. Go figure.
Where do we go from here, Mr. Chairman?
Well, I mean, we've passed the Save America Act at least 4 times, I think 5 times in the House. We continue to try and tee this up for the Senate. So that's something the American people want. I think polling shows across the board, Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter. Somewhere in the neighborhood of 70+% of Americans want to see that election integrity integrated into our election system. That's number one. Number two, you mentioned agriculture spending and also defense spending. I would say all 3 of those things are important national security initiatives. Those are things that, like, if we can't feed and clothe ourselves, that's a national security vulnerability. Obviously, our defense spending is as well. So all of these things, I think, are being viewed through the lens of national security, and I think he's right. When we talk about teeing up reconciliation, I think what we run into some heartburn when we talk about how do we pay for it, and that wasn't a consideration in previous iterations. I hope that that's the direction that we go, and I think that he's making some great points. We've done an awful lot in the House. We hope and wish that the Senate could move at greater speed than what they tend to move at. That's the nature of the Senate. But, the clock is ticking, and we've got to work a little faster.
Before you go, I do want to ask you about this because it's important. You and New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik are holding a full committee hearing on the next generation of threats. This is 25 years post-September 11th. What are the biggest threats facing us right now?
Well, we tend to look at this as a sort of a counterterrorism type deal. And while that's important and that continues, what we have sort of taken our eye off the ball on, as we've discussed today, this great power adversary that is China. China is ever present, and around the globe, they're exploiting their ability to work in our open society as well as Russia. And so I think that what we need to do is make sure that we are not sort of lapsing into a pre-9/11 posture as it applies to our counterintelligence capabilities here at home to protect the homeland, and recognizing at the same time that not only do we have to manage counterterrorism threats, but we also have to manage counterintelligence threats as they appear here at home. And I think that we're probably not in the best position that we need to be, and we're hoping to change that. We're going to make some observations as we vote out this in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, which we think is an appropriate location to do. And we're going to be visiting all the sites from 9/11. So this is a 25-year sort of look back and a 25-year look forward. What does the next 25 years look like, and where should we go, and how should we get there?
So that we never go through something like 9/11 ever again in this country. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
Congressman Rick Crawford, it's so great to have you here. Thank you so much for being here, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right.